Hafaday and welcome. The Committee on Health, Land, Justice, and Culture is now called to order. Today's Tuesday, September 20, and the time is 3:54 p.m. Notices for this confirmation hearing were sent via email to all senators and all media broadcasting outlets, and also published in the Guam Daily Post on Tuesday, September 13, and again on Friday, September 16, 2022. This hearing is being broadcast live on the Guam Legislature's YouTube channel as well. So individuals testifying shall first be recognized by the chair before speaking and begin by stating their name for record-keeping purposes. We have one agenda item at this point. This is the reappointment of Polly Michael C. Crisostomo to serve as a member of the Criminal Injuries Compensation Commission for a term length of 4 years, from April 1, 2022 to March 31, 2026. I'd like to acknowledge the presence of my colleague, Senator Terlaje, who's been here with me this whole afternoon for all these hearings. Thank you very much, Senator. And this is a very important confirmation hearing because it's for the Criminal Injuries Compensation Commission. And I want to thank Polly Eric for his work on this commission for many years so far. And we are honored to have in our room with us today the former Attorney General of Guam, Elizabeth Barrett Anderson. And I want to thank her for her work in pretty much restarting this commission and getting it to where it is today. Very much responsible for that. And to getting compensation out to the victims of crime on Guam. And so I want to thank you. And we have with us also other members of the commission, and I want to thank them for being here today. All right, so we will begin. For the record, we've received, I'm going to say many, written testimony in support of Polly Mike's reappointment from the ones from the Office of the Attorney General of Guam, the law offices of Cabot Mantanonia, Ms. Jane Flores from the Bureau of Women's Affairs, Mr. Joe Kanata, Professor Ancito Walter, Dr. Ancito Walter, Professor of Public Administration for the University of Guam, Sinahanya Mayor Robert Hoffman, Executive Director of the Guam Coalition Against Sexual Assault and Family Violence, Cynthia Cabot, Mr. Daniel Barber, the Deputy Assistant Federal Security Director of the Transportation Security Administration, Ms. Marie Birata Halloran, who is the Executive Director, Rainbow for All Children Guam and LifeWorks Guam. Thank you for being here today. And Ms. Tricia Tenorio, Archdiocesan Safe Environment Coordinator, Chancery Office, Archdiocese of Agana. Polly Mike, thank you for accepting this appointment again. And I'm going to just read just a couple of, I'm going to allow for testimony now. So we'll hear from our former Attorney General of Guam, former Senator, and former Judge, Elizabeth Barrett Anderson.
Okay. Madam Chair, could I defer to Commissioner Denise Mendiola because she's going to read Attorney General Camacho's written testimony.
Sure.
And then I'll be next.
Sure. Okay. Denise Mendiola, you're recognized.
Hafaday, Madam Chair and Senator Taitagui. I'd like to read a letter from Honorable Levin Taitano Camacho, Attorney General of Guam, the letter in support of Reverend Father Michael C. Crisostomo's reappointment to the CICC. Hafaday, Madam Speaker, I submit written testimony in support of Reverend Father Michael C. Crisostomo's, otherwise referred to as Polly Mike, reappointment to the Criminal Injuries Compensation Commission, also known as CICC. The CICC is an extremely unique and community-devoted body, as its mission is to lessen the burdens placed on victims of crime and their families, who are often faced with inordinate crime-related expenses. My office continues to have the privilege of providing both legal and administrative support to the CICC. In my time as Attorney General, with Polly Mike as chairman, the CICC has awarded nearly $500,000 to victims of crime and their families. Notably, even at the height of the pandemic, Polly Mike and the entire CICC were not deterred by such an unprecedented challenge and continued to work to ensure victims of crime were supported. Polly Mike's commitment to victims is nothing short of inspiring. It has been an honor working with him. Thus, it is without hesitation that I provide my support of Polly Mike's reappointment to the CICC. Should you have any questions, do not hesitate to contact me personally. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Ms. Mendiola. On behalf of the Attorney General of Guam, I want to note we also have received for the record testimony from Fred Nishihira, Deputy Attorney General at the Office of the Attorney General of Guam, Ms. Mary Okada, President of the Guam Community College, Attorney Vincent Camacho, Camacho Calvo Law Group, LLC, Ms. Shelley Gibson, and Diana C. Newcomb, Program Director of Erica's House, Inc. All right, so we did receive additional testimonies as well. All right, so now former Judge Elizabeth Barrett Anderson.
Thank you, Madam Speaker and Senator. I am pleased today to submit my utmost support and recommendation for the reappointment of Michael C. Crisostomo for another 4-year term to the Criminal Injuries Compensation Commission. I believe this is the nominee's 3rd, but I was corrected. This is his 5th, 20 years. 5th appointment, consecutive appointment to the commission, which bodes very well for his value and service to the people of Guam. It also speaks well of his untiring commitment to the work of the commission. As a fellow commissioner member and former Attorney General, I also value Polly Mike's work over the past decade. He, along with Commissioners Dr. Lisa Flores and Denise Mendiola, were instrumental during my tenure as Attorney General in getting the commission back on its feet and fully operational. Where we are today could not have been accomplished without the dedication of every commissioner, and most especially to Polly Mike, who has served as our and continued chairperson of the commission. There is still much work for the commission ahead, including a thorough review and updating of the statute, training for commission members on federal compensation regulations, and working to improve our services to victims of crime. And we look forward to accomplishing these goals with the help of Polly Mike at the helm and the help of this legislature. I urge for the prompt confirmation of Polly Michael C. Crisostomo. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. And now Marie Halloran. I'm sorry, 1 minute. Could we get the microphone?
Okay. Hello. Okay. Dear Senator Therese Terlaje, Chairperson, and Taitagui, I'm so sorry, yeah, and Honorable Senators, stakeholders, and media. I am honored to submit this letter of recommendation in support of Reverend Father Polly Michael Crisostomo's nomination for reappointment as a member of the Criminal Injuries Compensation for a term of 4 years from April 2 to 2022 to March 31, 2026. I have known Polly Mike for over 20 years, and I am in admiration at how much he has contributed in the field of his ministry and beyond, most especially the needy, abused, neglected families. His service to the less fortunate is phenomenal. Even at this time of crisis, he's able to reach out to our community with a lot of hard work, compassion, and kindness. I remember my first encounter with him when he was in deep grief because of the violent death that happened to one of his immediate family and his niece. My sister, Claire Virata, worked closely with his family member at the Department of Public Health and Social Services. It was then that Polly Mike reached out to me to please help them start rainbows for all children in the Toto area. With the help of another agency, I was able to train the employees of the agency, and the rainbow facilitators started the program at his vicinity. The trained and certified rainbow facilitators were able to implement the program and help grieving children navigate their feelings of loss, capture and regain trust and self-esteem, became more positive in their behavior and relationship at school with their siblings and their active parent in their life. This all happened with Polly Mike's effort and diligence to seek resources for his parish. The staff that worked with Polly Mike have also attended and were certified in suicide prevention care for his staff. Through the years, I have observed Polly Mike's genuine concern, compassion, empathy, dedication, and follow-up care for his parish community and neighboring communities. His dedication and devotion to his religious spiritual beliefs is commendable. He does not judge anyone for their views, but with his examples, other people are able to follow his ideals and beliefs without infringing on their freedom. He has a vision, and with his vision, he makes it a possibility, and with a lot of hard work and perseverance, his vision enters into the next step from possibility to reality. Polly Mike is a doer, and that is what I admire in him. He walks the talk and makes things happen for the greater glory of our Lord. I am confident that with Polly Mike's wealth of knowledge and experience, he will be an exemplary candidate for Criminal Injuries Compensation Commission member. I approve the commission to renew his position, his membership for another 5 years or another 20 years. Thank you so much for this opportunity. If you have any questions about my recommendation, please contact me at rainbows@yahoo.com. Thank you so much for giving me the time. And you know, Father Mike is really not a person of a lot of words, but he just taps you and in your heart. Like, he just stopped me after Mass. He said, Marie, I want the St. Anthony School to be trained in suicide. So I talked to Angie, and Angie said, we don't have money. I said, it's okay. We'll do it, because Polly Mike had asked me. I'm going to do it. So we did. We did train 60 of them. And thank you for that, Polly Mike.
Thank you for that, Ms. Halloran, and for continuing your outreach and your training and your support of these children. All right, Polly Mike, floor is yours.
Hi, good afternoon, Madam Speaker and Senator. Thank you for the opportunity. Thank you for the Governor for her confidence in me being reappointed into the Commission. As stated by the Attorney General in his letter, the mission of the Commission is to lessen the burden of our victims of crime. And along with my colleagues, that's what we've been trying to do. We make every effort to ensure that the victim's story is heard, that their experience is validated, and that we truly compensate them and award them based on the law that has been written. So the Commission's work, as the Honorable EBA has stated, still needs a lot of work, still needs to continue to grow, but the Commission members are very diligent and committed in doing so. So I'm willing to continue to put more years into this Commission to ensure that victims of crime are compensated. So again, thank you for the opportunity.
Thank you again, Polly. As a return member of so many years, do you see doing anything differently in this upcoming term, or are you expecting? Yeah, I mean, I heard from Judge Anderson, Barrett Anderson, that there are some updates to the statute that might be necessary.
That's correct, Madam Speaker. We are going to be meeting, or we've been meeting via Zoom, and of course we're going to be meeting in person administratively to discuss that. So we'll be hopefully coming before you and presenting that presentation to you. So yes.
All right. And are there any impediments that you have experienced on this board or this commission?
If I could answer
Sure.
that, we've noticed in our practice in having the victims come before us on application, we've noticed where there was some inconsistencies in the statute and some gaps in the statute. And I think the only way you know if a law is good or bad is when you work it. And so the commission for the last 5 to 6 years, since it became fully operational under Polly Mike's chairmanship, has been working the statute, working it, and we are now in a position to make recommendations, hopefully soon, to the legislature to correct the errors or inconsistencies and to make the statute even stronger and better.
Thank you.
And may I say that when a victim comes before us, the commission members listen with a compassionate heart, obviously. But what limits us as well is sometimes the law and the ceiling that the amount that we can only award a certain amount, because the law stipulates that there's a limit to it. And unfortunately, we can't give any more than what they're asking. And especially when it comes to medical injuries or medical bills, of course, the hospital is due for their payments, but it's very difficult and very challenging, and it's heart-wrenching to hear victims plead for their case to be able to retell their story. It is almost re-victimizing them, and we're with the great spirit of courage and bravery that these victims come before us, and we try our best as commission members to ensure that we give some kind of relief, some kind of alleviation to their burden. But again, the law limits us from doing so, but we understand that, of course, there's a budgetary constraint, and we only are given a certain amount of money, but we try to be wise about that and how we compensate. So we're very fortunate that our Honorable EBA is here with us, and she's more knowledgeable in the law and the legality of things. And, of course, the Attorney General and his staff, and, of course, the coordinator and other attorneys and advocates that are working the operations with us and for us. So we're just very thankful for them.
Polly Mike, would you say that you've been able to adjudicate, or whatever the term is for this commission, to review these applications and process them efficiently, or is there a backlog?
Oh, without a doubt, the staff that we have put together a process that was very impressive, and they're very diligent about what goes before us, and then we review over all of those documents. So yes, with great efficiency. I have to really attribute that to the Attorney General and his staff, because they're the ones really that kind of do the frontline work for us, and then we review all of that once again. So yes, efficiency is really their mission.
All right. And do you, you've been able, there's no challenges to attending the commission meetings, given all your other roles?
No, ma'am. In fact, actually, it's more.
I guess you're the chair. You're calling them meetings.
And we've been having meetings via Zoom, and so that's been very helpful, of course. But of course, when we open up, and I believe we're going to be opening up next month for another hearing, and we commit to being there in person.
All right. Well, thank you again for all your work, Senator Taitugu.
Thank you so much, Polly Mike, for serving the community in this capacity. And though it could be very heart-wrenching listening to these stories, I know at the end of the day it becomes very rewarding that you're able to help those individuals. I'm glad you brought up the fact that you're looking at increasing those caps. We did that, I think, in the last term when we increased the limit of liability that the government can pay out. That wasn't addressed in over 20 years. So you can imagine inflation and the cost of any products or anything, it's gone up skyrocket. So I appreciate if you could give us that amount that or anything that we can do to increase those limits for you to become more adjacent to what's today's times on the cost of today. But how does the commission get funded in the event that you need to bring expert witness in, or you need some other type of documents to be done? How is it funded by who funds the commission?
The Office of the Attorney General of Guam pays for all administrative requirements of the commission.
Is there any particular amount that is given to the commission on a yearly basis that's set aside, or is it just...
Well, maybe we can talk about that in the future. A specific set-aside at the Office of the Attorney General. Attorney General Camacho, and during my tenure, we provide all administrative support, personnel, and I think the Commission might want to consider, as the future of the Commission goes on and we look towards sustainability, that the Commission member perhaps can consider having an executive director and maybe one program coordinator on a permanent basis, so that no matter who is in the position of Attorney General or as division heads leave, there is a consistency and a stability. And so that's what the Commission is doing right now. We want to look forward. It's been 6 years. We want to look forward to sustainability, so we never ever have a situation where the Commission goes defunct for whatever reason or whatever cause. And there is still one position open for a Commission member. It's good to have 4 in the event someone is unable to make it. So the 4 is good, 5 is even better. So with regard to your specific question, so far it's okay, because the Attorney General is very generous. I do want to clarify one thing with regard to the fund. It is a protected fund, just like child support is. No governor, no chief executive can tap into that fund in times of budgetary downfalls. It is a protected fund. And for every dollar that the Commission awards, the federal government returns 66 cents on the dollar. So the fund itself is healthy, and administratively, I'd like to see a permanent support staff in the Office of the Attorney General. I'd like to see an executive director if possible, but I'm not quite sure of the Attorney General. We haven't said anything to him about it, so he's probably going to be very surprised that we're looking at that.
Well, I don't think it's too ambitious. I think it's rightfully so and needed. I do, just listening to the work that you do and reading the law. I had an opportunity to look at some of the requirements as a member, what you're tasked to do, and I tell you, it's got to be tough, the job that you do, and I'd really like to find a way to, like Judge Barrett or former AG mentioned, to make this sustainable. I think we can do that. It's not too far off at all. How many cases do you have a year usually that you listen to?
We average currently about 10 to 15 cases in a year.
10 to 15?
Those are cases that we've been awarded or that we've had the opportunity to compensate. But we bring in over 20, 25 cases and then of course they're all processed and then screened, and if they are eligible, then the staff proceeds to our commission. But so far this year, I believe the record, we have about 15 that we awarded this year.
Wow, that's still quite a bit, and I can only imagine it could grow, you know. I don't see it lessening, those cases lessening, right. Unfortunately. You know, with what's going on in today, you know, what we're experiencing our communities, it's pretty scary out there. But I'm very confident, though, that we have good people like you, probably Mike, and of course the rest that are here today. You know, it's so always good to see you, Ms. Mendiola. You know, being part of any project that you do. I always know that it's going to do well because you're part of that. You've been very instrumental in the community. So thank you, too, for all the work that you're doing, as well as Ms. Hagan for here testifying. Other than that, I wish you the very best, and looking forward working with the speaker when it comes to your ideas and suggestions, and the changes of some law or correcting some loopholes that you talked about, but most especially really looking forward to finding a way to sustain this commission and make it there for good. Yes, Viva. Thank you again. Thank you, Madam Speaker.
Thank you very much, Senator. Can I just ask us the number of cases that you pointed out, how do those people find out about their ability to seek compensation?
Oh, cool. So the Attorney General has a website, and so the one they can look at there, the Guam Coalition Against Sexual Assault and Family Violence. I'm a member of that, so I usually kind of pitch in and say, hey, we have this compensation commission, and we do so in many. We're planning also kind of outreach. We work with the Attorney General's office and with their victim advocacy to be able to alert individuals that there is this opportunity of compensation. Because we also review cases that come before us that perhaps were not given restitution by the courts yet, and so they are able to learn from the advocates that there is a compensation commission, and then of course they learn how to apply, where to apply, and who do they see. And the victim advocates that are the Attorney General's office, they do a diligent job in making sure that they reach out to these victims, and when they make that application, they're constantly calling to get the required documents in, because there are certain things like receipts, invoices that are needed, but they certainly do a diligent job in that and making sure that the Commission's job is well known.
Right. Right. Well, I want to thank you again. Thank you to all those who came in support. I see some of them are at the Attorney General's office, it looks like, and other Chancery office maybe. Anyways, but thank you all for being here, especially the Commission members, for your work. Thank you for your work and for supporting the work of getting this compensation to these victims. Of course, thank you to Polly Mike for accepting again this reappointment, and for the leadership that you've played on this commission and your efforts to assist those most vulnerable in our community. It's clear from your record that there is no issue with you being hardworking or diligent or actually achieving the goal that was created when this commission was created. And you've been very respectful in this role, and so I just want to thank you for that personally. So I'm looking forward to, we are trying to report these out of committee and put these nominations up for the entire legislature to vote on, hopefully in our next session. So there being no additional individuals to present further testimony, this committee will consider the nomination of Pali Michael C. Crisostomo as a member of the Criminal Injuries Compensation Commission duly heard. The public hearing is now adjourned, and the time is 4:22 p.m. Si Diyos masi todos.